Hi everyone! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Genevieve L. Delagar, and for today, I am going to make a reaction video by sharing some insights or even share my experiences related to my teaching career on some of the contemporary trends, methods, and techniques in English language teaching that I already watched last time. This will serve as the final requirement of our asynchronous class of the course Multi-Unay to be submitted to Dr. Lloyd C. Hunahunan. And these are the contemporary trends, methods, and techniques that I already watched, in which I am going to make a video reaction for each of the video clips. And the following are global citizenship, second is education 4.0, and the third is new literacies and multi-literacies. So these are some of the video lessons that I'm going to make a reaction video on methods and techniques in English language teaching. First, we have corpora methods and techniques in ELT. Second is playway method. Third is networking and support groups. Fourth is learning and teaching management platforms, also known as LMS. Then we have embodied learning, gamification, blended learning in ELT, project-based learning, cybergogy, and the last is connectivism. Well, based on the video presented, we all know that global citizenship is a form of civic learning that involves students' active participation in projects that address global issues of social, political, economic, and environmental nature. And this is quite a lifelong learning perspectives, giving an account to foster learners on the following aims and competencies. We have knowledge, skills, attitudes, and actions. Well, as an English teacher for almost 5 years, after watching the video about global citizenship, I realized that I actually employed some springboards. It could be in a form of passage, text, or article that show societal or global issues or problems nowadays, especially in teaching literature and grammar in English grade 9. To achieve global citizenship, I realized after watching the video that I should provide my students with opportunities or a chance to select issues that interest them the most, because it is the way of helping them understand that they can work to reduce poverty, for example. Poverty as an example of an issue presented in a certain springboard. And in that way, I could help them assist how they establish a plan to sustain involvement with the issues related for themselves and their studies. In addition, on the part of the teachers, we could also invite guest speakers or even those non-profit organizations who can actually discuss or who are knowledgeable enough to discuss some of the global issues or issues in the society in which students should be aware and should take their part in making decisions to address these predicaments. And in this way, students are given the opportunities and competencies to realize that their rights and obligations as citizens promote a better world in the future. Let us now proceed to Education 4.0. With the emergence of tablets, smartphones, virtual classrooms, online assessments, robotics, artificial intelligence, big data, and any other high technology tools invented by creative minds of genius inventors, replacing the old system of conventional education, Education 4.0 is a purposeful approach to learning that transforms the future of education using advanced technology and automation. It has a personalized way of teaching that promotes remote and self-paced learning, resulting to a greater impact to achieve their outcomes easily. Now, how can we do this in the Philippines? To keep up with this change, teachers and students should be adept with skills set by fast-changing technology, making students skill-ready to compete with the outside labor force globally. In addition, there is a need for curriculum makers to revisit the old curriculum, update the content and delivery of instruction, with special stress on skill-based subjects, and of course with technologically built classrooms with the state-of-the-art facilities. Therefore, if this will be done, the Philippine educational system should be prepared in gearing up to this massive transformation in order to have a sustainable model of education in our country since the effect of Industry Revolution 4.0 in education is inevitable. Let us now have new literacies and multiliteracies. The focus of education changes from literacy to multiliteracy because of the new information and communicative media that arise from the advent of new technology, in which our ability to read, write, speak, and listen is augmented by linguistic content that involves multiple modes of representations. With these changes, human interaction now includes digital interfaces. And what are those? Like oral, visual, audio, gestural, tactile, and spatial patterns of meaning. Wherefore, it is no longer enough for literacy teaching to focus solely on the rules of standard forms of the national language. Instead, learners should be exposed in figuring out differences in patterns of content to a certain degree. Now, with the expansion of range of multiliteracies in the pedagogy, makes it more engaging to our communications environment, where it provides a powerful foundation of mode switching as we adjust to the new literacy change in response to new media and global networks. Let us now move on to the methods and techniques in English language teaching. And let's start with Corpora methods and techniques in ELT. Corpora is a new tool that provides teachers with authentic data about language structure and promotes students' autonomy because they can explore a determined corpus, like the collection of text written and spoken in machine-readable form, which may be annotated with the various forms of linguistic information, and to their own research about language features with the emergence of technology in education. Now, this would serve as a reference source where the process was written up and made available outside the learners that develops autonomy and independence, allowing them to find things for themselves. In my experience, I definitely used this tool, especially in teaching grammars to my students, but I am not just aware that the term is called corpora. And exploring this kind of method on the web provides an array of options to infer and understand deeper on the rules in spelling, language, and grammar rules and functions with authentic examples because it presents feedback, focusing on small number of errors, which I find it very effective on my part as a teacher. So with the help of corpora as a method and technique in English language teaching, it is very much beneficial on the part of the teacher and the learners to help us or to help them improve their text as the product. Let's have now Playway method. The integration of Playway method is very much evident to teach children in learning English. And at some point, Playway method in teaching English provides a myriad of opportunities to students for full participation, bringing satisfaction in their cognitive level, thus meaningful learning takes place. I myself, as a teacher, even though I teach most likely grade 7 to 10 students, I definitely apply this kind of method because it is very much effective in order to get away or to dispel boredomness, especially in teaching literature and grammar. And in this way, teaching English is quite somehow easier for the learners to learn and understand better what is going on the lesson because there is what we call full cooperation and communication with the use of second language. And it really needs time, effort, and good planning of the teacher to realize this method so that students not only enjoy but learn at the same time in the teaching and learning. We also have networking and support groups. Well, over the last decades, social networking sites like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok are social arenas that attract millions of users around the world. Most of these social networking sites share key characteristics such as the ability to build a profile, upload and publish contents, create conversations, chat with other users, and of course, create pages related to certain themes. Now, as pandemic crisis keeps on disrupting many aspects of life, including education, the use of academic, social networking sites, and other support groups have made it possible to deliver contents online through numerous online learning applications to enhance connectivity and keep in touch with peers or instructors via online discussions. Thus, integrating social networking sites and other support groups in English language teaching and learning provides language learners with authentic context to express themselves and develop new forms of meaning, make social connections with different people, and gain insight into the ways people use language. I myself also tried to venture vlogging, showcasing my life stories, travels or adventures, and educational contents as a way of expressing the other side of me, establishing connections with others. And this somehow should be done with careful planning, execution, and self-discipline as we actually try to venture or explore more on online platforms. This time, let us now have learning and teaching management platforms, or also known as LMS or Learning Management Systems. LMS or Learning Management Systems is one of the most adopted frameworks for education. It is a software solution that manages administration, monitoring, and reporting on online courses and training programs within an organization. Now, this is one of the reasons why education has still been carried out amid this pandemic without putting the academic year on hold, for it serves as a virtual classroom where teachers can interact with their students and conduct learning activities online. And this tool provides features to help simulate experiences and activities that usually happen in the classroom settings. Teachers can upload PowerPoint presentations or other multimedia contents, distribute self-learning videos online, post assignments, conduct tests, making the students to access, copy, and download by anyone else easily who are enrolled in the course. Now, teachers can also monitor students' progress and performance that keep track of their records, grades, submissions, and engagement with the course. The students would only need internet connectivity in a device to attend school, again, that provides flexibility and accessibility they need to ensure normalcy in their daily routine, ensuring the health and safety of both parties. However, one possible concern to this online learning is that we cannot guarantee its effectiveness for teachers and students online, because they are easily distracted and unable to focus due to some situations like unstable internet connection, power interruptions, learning space, noise, body pains, and the like. So I also experienced this kind of problem because of having this online learning, and my experience was somehow a bit worse because I tend to transfer from one station to another station because I am just connecting a piece of Wi-Fi, and I need to find a strong connection because at some point, especially in having exams, online exams, so I need to find ways for me to be able to cope up with the lesson that I missed already because of internet connection. And with the pandemic still looming overhead, LMS is the right tool and smart alternative as of these thriving times to ensure that education must go on, guaranteeing the effectiveness of online learning. Let's go now with gamification. To create sustained engagement and fun learning in the instruction, the integration of gamification in language learning has been introduced to the students to complete a desired goal or target, reach some achievements after completing each level in a way that learners develop sense of belongingness, peer competition, teamwork, and socialization. Now, through this gamification in class, it requires the utilization of applications and educational games via computers and tablets. But the problem here is that we don't have enough gadgets and internet connection to do that. Teachers can implement gamification as a method by simply bringing game-based elements into integrating them to other activities in the classroom, like making narratives, providing immediate feedbacks based on the performance of the students, mastery of the lesson from basic to complex, and then progress indicators based on how students have learned enough with your subject. So there's what we call indicator, just like in reading. Then peer competitions, then social connections, and the like. So with this gamification method, it promotes encouragement, and motivation in the instruction that makes language learning more exciting to learn and experience. Another method of English language teaching is embodied learning. Embodied learning is an approach to teaching that requires the involvement of the human body and mind in learning that promotes learners' active engagement in the classroom. The use of TPR, or total physical response, and bodily kinesthetics in the teaching and learning process helps the learners to be more engaging, enthusiastic, and be alert in the class with the use of their senses. One example that I employed embodied learning in my discussion is the use of field trip methods in discussing the topic elements of the story. I know this kind of topic is quite arduous to be understood because we need to tackle this one by one. And I used field trip method in a way that this is somehow they are going to roam around or explore within the four walls of the classroom, where students are grouped accordingly and take turns in each corner to discuss and analyze each element in which they learn something by doing it. This approach is very much effective and can be a best practice in language teaching. However, it is shaped by restrictions due to the fact that it would consume time. There is lack of learning materials or resources to be used, and learning competencies should be discussed according to the time frame. Wherefore, employing this kind of technique is very much effective if you apply it in the classroom activities, but it needs careful planning, knowledge, experience, and proper execution to achieve its purpose. Let's have blended learning in English language teaching. The existence of blended learning allows education to continue amid the threat of pandemic crisis, giving the students the option to engage in online, modular, distance, or in TV or radio-based instruction. So the existence of blended learning allows education to continue amid the threat of the pandemic. Our students are engaged with the use of SLMs because majority of them don't have access to internet connection and a device to study online. The real challenge lies within the teachers, where it imposes new burdens to us because learning is not just the same as before if students are taught in the classroom. Let's proceed to PBL. Project-based learning is a type of inquiry-based and student-centered learning approach in teaching that enables students to learn deeply and develop core employability skills through participating in real-world projects and experiences. Integrating project-based learning to language teaching enables learners to have a deeper engagement with the learning content, develop higher order thinking skills and problem-solving skills, communication, collaboration, self-efficacy, and gain valuable career insights. For examples for this are language researches, mock-up interviews, book reviews, reporting, poem, song, or essay, or any written or art of oral interpretations that promote the use of English language skills. Now, the teaching method possesses some challenges in the teaching learning process that the project must involve a meaningful real-world problem that needs solving or questions that needs answering, considering the level of students, give them the engagement in an extended, thorough process in doing the project because it takes time, include them in making decisions about the project to incite interest and allow them to communicate their ideas in their own voices. The next method that we're going to give insight is, of course, the emergence of cybergogy. Distance learning or online learning is the product or the outcome of cybergogy. When we talk about cybergogy, it is a new teaching and learning concept in education combined with the fundamentals of both pedagogy and andragogy to arrive at a new approach to online learning through information and communication technology. Cybergogy creates an environment for both teachers and students that cultivate learners' competence, respect, facilitate positive attitudes towards learning experience, and design challenging tasks and assessment consistent to the learner's outcomes. Now, this type of teaching and learning concept requires some applications like Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, or any other online platforms that students need to attend sessions depending on the given time frame. Engage through oral and written tasks, conduct synchronous and asynchronous classes, just like what I have experienced, provide peer feedbacks, email their outputs online as part of their engagement expectations. Now, we are now down to the last method and technique in English language teaching, that is connectivism. Connectivism promotes learning that happens outside of an individual, such as through social networks and knowledge that occurs or is stored by technology. It builds upon established theories to propose that technology is changing what, how, and where we learn. The role of technology plays the learning process and how the digital age has increased the speed at which students have access to information. Learning is a networking process and knowledge is a networking product. When I taught in a private school before, I actually helped my students to be motivated in using and exploring some Web 2.0 technology applications like Facebook, Wikipedia, and other online platforms to access or share some information related to the lessons being discussed in that day. So students can explore what is vital to learning, interact with peers and environment around them, and provide possibilities for the future of learning. But not all students can access to connectivist learning because they don't have, or not all of them have, internet connections, gadgets to access data sources online, explore opportunities as a way to connect with learning, too dependent with the use of technology. Therefore, we teachers should also let the students to explore or experience with the use of technology, provided that most of the students can actually access on it, because it would help them to learn a lot of things with the use of these applications. Well, that ends my reaction video. I hope you learned something and my insights and my experiences with these methods and techniques and trends in ELT. Thank you so much for listening and see you in my next video. Bye!